it's not exactly a secret that the Acolyte has been a colossal, enormous disaster, and we've talked about it time after time. It is back down to 13% on Rotten Tomatoes as we currently speak. We saw it bump up a little, 13, 14. Who knows? It's tough to get it much lower than this, but here we are at 13%. And all of a sudden, we start hearing different things from Disney. You know, despite the fact that 3 years ago, Jeremy, look at the date of this, published July 10th, 2021. Star Wars The Acolyte will reflect showrunner's own queer identity.
Mm-hmm.
This is some of the first stuff we heard about this show, that they were very much going to focus on her being a lesbian. They wanted to make that part of the story, like all this shit. Well, guess what? Then it's about to come out. They laugh and cackle how funny it is that it's called the gayest Star Wars ever, that they're on board with the gayest Star Wars ever. Well, now that people are calling it the gayest Star Wars ever, that's a problem now. Oh, I don't know if I'd say that, says Leslye Headland, who admitted that was her agenda all along. I don't think the show's queer with a capital Q. I really think people are reading way too much in to these witches who live in an all-female society and gently caress each other as they make babies with each other. The idea that you would read that as lesbian, you're just not paying attention to the show. And this is the article that got a lot of people's attention. Queer creator of gayest Star Wars series claps back at haters who claim it's woke propaganda with lesbian space witches.
Dude, that's such a great headline. That's a phenomenal headline, man. Holy
queer
crap.
Creator of gayest Star Wars. Like they could have made it a little like more bad faith and been like, unfuckable lesbian creator of gayest Star Wars ever. Like they could have done something like that.
But this is pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
I love this dude. Leslye Headland, the quote, first openly queer person to create a major Star Wars project. They have to say that because Dave Filoni's not out, technically, right? The first openly queer person. Spoke to the outlet about the backlash the show's gotten for its progressive themes. Telling the outlet she never intended to make a show with an overt political agenda, even if it contains some LGBTQ messaging.
Such bullshit. Such bullshit.
Yeah, like that. Go back to the interviews from 3 years ago. Like, that's what you told us this would be about. It's not exactly a fucking surprise at this point. I don't believe I've created queer with a capital Q content. I don't even really know what that means.
I don't either. I said it in my video. Like she said in the, I don't know if they quote it in this one or not, but it's definitely the article. She said, well, you know, I don't really know what the word gayest Star Wars means, but I don't believe I've created queer content with capital Q. I don't know what that means.
It's like
so you maybe like you're not saying it loud and proud. Like I'm not saying it loud, proud. It's only a little queer, not like capital Q queer. Is that what she means?
I think so. I think she means like there might be queer coded messaging in there, but it's not like you have chicks making out with each other or something. I guess that's, or maybe she means there's elements in there, but like the purpose of the story isn't to spotlight queer relationships. I really don't know what it means. I'm never going to capitalize queer in my fucking life unless it's for the title of a YouTube video from now on, though. Like, I don't understand. You need a proper queer. Is that what she's talking about? I was surprised by the question when asking about the gayest Star Wars ever. Amanda and I just burst out laughing because that's our knee-jerk reaction to be asked that. But to be honest, I don't know what the term gay means in that sense.
There it is. Yeah.
Like, what do you... Yes, you do.
You know exactly what it means.
They mean the happiest Star Wars ever? Of course you know what that fucking means. As some queer across from you is asking you with a lisp, do you think... I think that's the gayest Star Wars ever, don't you? You don't know what he's asking when he says that?
The proper answer to that, if you're operating in the faith that you're trying to claim you're operating now, is... What do you mean by that? This is just Star Wars. This is really not about sexuality or anything like that. What, Mr. Reporter guy, what do you mean by that? You knew what he meant by that. That's why you laughed about it. That's why you both started giggling. And then the whole conversation turned into how everything in Star Wars is gay, yada, yada, yada. She is full of shit. She's full of shit.
And then this was that second part. Headland also weighed in on a controversial storyline in episode 3 of The Acolyte, which seemed to confirm critics' worst fears about overt LGBTQ propaganda being part of the show. The narrative in question implied that two powerful witches belonging to an all-female society used force magic to generate their female offspring, the twin main characters of the show.
That's my favorite line from the New York Post. The narrative in question implies that two powerful witches belonging to an all-female society used force magic to generate their female offspring. Holy shit, that's an amazing line right there.
God. Headland slammed that reading, telling the outlet, they're in a matriarchal society. As a gay woman, I knew it would read that their sexuality is queer, but there also aren't any men in their community. I do like the implication that if there's no men around, as a last resort, women will turn gay. Maybe that explains your life. So a closeness between the two of them would be natural. It seemed plot driven. I would say it's really reductive to call them lesbians. It means you're not really paying attention to this story. So let me get this straight. As a unfuckable gay woman, I knew that this would read to audiences that they're lesbians. But to read it as lesbians, that's reductive.
What an insane statement. The way she's framing this whole thing, she wants to backtrack off of it because she knows it's controversial and it's hurting the show, but she doesn't want to say anything that will come off as negative towards being gay or LGBT. That's what she's doing.
Well, and that even follows up with this. I'm proud of being a gay woman who's accomplished this feat. And certainly if my content is called queer, I don't want to disown whatever queerness is in the show. I would be proud to create something that inspired queer people. Well, but much like everyone was so like, it was so amazing. Finally, a black woman gets to direct a Marvel movie. And spoiler alert, it was the worst piece of shit that they'd ever produced, the biggest flop that Marvel's ever had. Just like we've got the first openly queer person to direct a Star Wars project. Well, guess what? It's the biggest piece of shit we've ever seen.
Yes.
Congratulations on your diversity.
Great job.
Representation.
Great job, Leslye Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. 13% audience score. The question now really becomes, will this hit single digits? And I don't think it will. I think 11% might be the bottom. I think 11% might be the bottom.